Last time we saw a top 8, a Samus in a top 8 situation, I believe it was Genesis 5 with Hugs. So, this could be Swooper's event to show that Samus still a relevant character in the meta, still someone you need to play around. And in particular against Fox, like this is the perfect matchup for you to kind of share your knowledge because you're both a Fox player, former Samus player. What is Fox looking for?
What is Fox looking for? Fox is looking for a run-up grab on Samus' shield. You can do a run-up down tilt if Samus is shielding as well, so it either pokes or if Samus wave dash back, which is one of Samus's most common options in any matchup. It'll catch her on the wave dash back. Those two just mixing up between run-up grab and wave dash, run-up down tilt will beat her wave dash back, and you all just run around and laser and build on percent and make it very difficult for Samus to hit you. You want to camp Samus. Samus is not very good at approaching you, and you also want to keep Samus in the air when you can with up tilts, up throw into weight. So we'll see if OtES is able to, perform any of these techniques and keep Samus away. But Swooper's a very fast player. I've watched him a lot, and although he can play the game slow, actually gets the stock off of that wall jump. Swooper's nodding his head. But Swooper's movement is very fast, even though Samus is a relatively slow character.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that's kind of like so, maybe not unique to Melee, but kind of so representative of Melee is just that like, you'll take a character that should be kind of slow moving, and the very best player just makes them look like so fast. And I feel like Swooper's extender, Swooper's super wave dashes.
Super wave dash, wave land off the platform into short hop, aerial, the bomb in place into aerials or into missile. That's one of his swooperisms, as we like to call him. You see them come out, and he might actually kill OtES off of that extreme misinput and actually gets the kill. And actually extender too.
Yeah, activating the extender as well. Do you want to explain how that works?
So if you press up, down, Z for the grab, you press up, down, up on the D-pad, and then you press Z again, you activate the extender, which makes the grab range longer and also lets it home in on your opponent if you press the L button. So you can grab people from underneath the platform. If they're above a platform, if you press the C stick down, you can actually pull people through the platform and kill them. And it's gone now because you have to reset it every stock. And OtES, having taken that stock and evened up the game, has locked out Swooper from the extender.
I actually think that like OtES is playing amazing right now.
Yeah, OtES is playing really well.
Really patient in the matchup. I think understands kind of what he should be going for. Understands that like sort of what you were saying, that like Samus not so great at approaching you. You don't want to give her too many free openings. And I think in spite of that early stock, and of course in a bad position now, like this is a lot closer than I would have expected for someone who like again took a set off of IBW, one of the best boxes in the world. But this is a mountain to climb. One stock is a huge lead against Samus.
Yeah. Actually does the run-up down tilt there and gets a little bit of percent. And you got to like understand that this is a match where you're not going to be comboing Samus super heavily. Like you just got to build your percent and walk away. Whereas on the other hand, if Samus gets a clean hit, like right now, she can take it very far.
Yeah, this is always a matchup. I think like it reminds me a lot of say like Sheik Puff or something, where the Fox is very used to doing the same stuff in most of the matchups they play, and then suddenly they're put in a situation where the stuff that they usually do just doesn't work. Like you can't kind of just rely on the up throw up airs. You can't kind of just rely on the same types of aggression that you would usually go for. And like in Sheik Puff, you can't go for the dash attacks, the grabs. Like it's just different. And so the greatest Fox players are able to kind of go like, just because I don't use my bread and butter tools doesn't mean that I don't have like 10 other amazing options as well.
I want to say though that OtES has been doing has been trying to deal with this and doing the best he can with recovery, but Swooper has been just so fast and clean with grabbing the ledge, throwing out aerials when needed, and covering space, both by being above the Fox when necessary, as well as throwing out a bunch of different missiles, missile types as well, like the hard missile going straight, the soft missile. Covering the space above Fox, so if he's doing an early up B, you can do missile into charge shot or missile into missile. So it's just difficult. I think that OtES, like against I would say lesser skilled Samus, would be doing like amazing right now and winning the set, but Swooper is just a good player.
Yeah, really understanding those smaller situations that kind of baiting OtES into feeling safer than he actually is. So Swooper just like kind of has a very deceptive defensive game, which I think is what you need to kind of succeed in as a Samus player. And this is going to be, and of course,
the defensive game right there. If you got a CC on an aerial like that, you're going to be building a lot of percent and putting Fox in uncomfortable situations.
And of course, like no offensive game is nothing without, oh my god.
The double, almost goes for the triple forward air, trying to style a little bit. Definitely Swooper is a person who loves the cameras, loves being in clips.
Yeah, really stylish player. But I was going to say, yeah, a defensive game is nothing without a solid punish game, and of course, as we're seeing Swooper very, very, very adept in that area. Even just using, oh my gosh.
Super wave dash over there to get to the other side of the stage. Doesn't get anything off of it, but really flashy stuff. Another one there too. It's just so hard to deal with.
It's so hard to deal with, and it's so strange. Like, because the thing is, like, already this is a matchup that maybe you don't have as much of experience playing against people at a high level. And then to add to that, even if you do play someone who's a really good Samus, they're not super wave dashing like every 3 seconds. And so even if the movement option has its weaknesses, if you're just not used to dealing with it, it becomes a situation where, like, it's like playing rock, paper, scissors, but you've never seen them throw scissors in your life. And you're like, okay, what do I do again? Like, all right, good missile.
Good CC into down tilt. Might get a side platform tech chase and goes for just a run-up grab. Swooper's punish game is just crazy. He just goes for like the weirdest option sometimes. Like just wave dash back into just the raw back air. Like who would expect that?
Absolutely. What do you think, given that CC has been kind of one of the primary openers, both in this game and also just in the matchup generally, what does Fox usually do to play around that CC?
You can do drill if Samus doesn't SDI the drill, and Samus is just CCing. You just have to tank the drill shine into what is it? Up smash. Additionally, the things that I mentioned before with the down tilt, you can't, like, if you're spaced properly, you cannot CC down smash a well-spaced down tilt. So it's just difficult to deal with that as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And also just don't run in there. A lot of times, one of Fox's favorite options at all skill levels against every character in the game is full hop nair at any percent. You cannot full hop nair Samus at any percent. You will die if you do this.
And that's exactly what I was trying to describe earlier. It's just like, sometimes there are matchups in Melee where, like, the thing that you love to do in every other matchup that gets you so much mileage, that's your bread and butter, is trash.
Yeah.
And you have to train your brain and say, like, not in this matchup. Do not go for it. I don't care if it works everywhere else. It doesn't work here. And the greatest, like, and that I think is where people get a bit deceptive on, like, matchup stuff, because they'll say, like, oh, Fox loses to Samus or something. It's like, well, yeah, if he does the stuff that, like, he does in every other matchup, but if he actually plays unique to that character, it's a different story. And we kind of see KJH do that, for example, with his Samus experience. Wow.
It's crazy. Goes for the extender into the super wave dash, and actually doesn't get very much off of it.
Yeah, manages to kind of keep pretty patient. I do feel like, yeah, again, OtES able to mostly play around the options that Swooper's going for, keeping it pretty close, but it's just hard when you're playing someone who has as good of a punish game as Swooper does.
Swooper dash dancing, trying to call out OtES's panic option, and isn't able to punish the spot dodge on his part.
Another element that is kind of tricky that I think Fox struggles with more uniquely than, say, Falco, is that edge guarding game against Samus. I feel like even the ability to have, say, like a down air can be very, very powerful, but good to see that OtES is catching on to the extenders. Those have not been working out the last few times that Swooper.
I don't think he's actually gotten a grab off of this extender
once.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I think that forward smash should seal the deal, and Swooper takes it 2-0. Honestly, all things considered, pretty solid performance from OtES. He held his own. Don't think he has too much Samus experience, but was doing the best he could. I mean, last stock that game had a pretty close game, first game too. So, it's good performance.
I think, like, honestly, great performance. Like, I feel like, of course, in the best case scenario, you beat Swooper. But as we've been saying kind of time and time and again, Swooper is a player who's beating the very best Foxes in the world. If you're able to take him kind of to the last stock or second last stock, able to really make him work, that's a really good sign. That's something that, you know, maybe we just saw the beginnings of a player that a year from now we're kind of going, oh yeah, OtES. He's a very, very solid player. We're going to see good stuff from him. It's fun that even this kind of late into the Melee meta, we're still seeing kind of rising stars. We're still seeing people who suddenly kind of perform amazingly. Of course, Jmook, someone who's been playing a long time, but just sort of suddenly became top 5, top 10. So, you know, I always am happy to see players who I'm not familiar with do a lot better than I expect, because it's just like, you know, kind of, it's like being a Melee hipster. You know, you can catch them early in their career and be like,
stats,
oh yeah,
you know, Melee stats always in their Discord saying, you know, this is the next up-and-coming player. Do you have any in mind, actually, for this tournament? Who's your up-and-coming player? Who do you think is someone who we've never heard of?